Hey everyone, what's up and welcome to a new video on my channel. And in today's video I will make a guide with a lot of small things that should hopefully help you to make a proper build and to make it easier and to maximize your damage in the game. So let's quickly run to the runes. I know it is overwhelming and very complex and there is no right or wrong. You can make a lot of things work, but you should not put too many things together. Let's say, for example, you love swords, it's just totally your thing, then try to put the most amount of swords runes into your build, obviously. Like, this one is like a very important one, Dragonflight Sword, because it literally makes the swords way stronger. And then here we go, the next rune that has like an effect with swords and so on. Here the next one that you start with swords potion and so on, and the next one that you generate the sword the whole time. So I hope you see what I mean, that if you try to make like a build, focus on what are the things that could make it very strong. Okay, here for example I have my rotating balls build, rotating circles, however you want to call it. And here the important thing is to, again, we put here two runes that are literally connected to like rotating circles and another one, and then you can put other ones that maybe have like a very good synergy with it. And since we are always like close range, to make the most out of our rotating circles, I use, for example, Ring of Agony, because you are close to the enemies anyway, so this is an additional damage, an additional push that you get from being close to the enemies. And then you have like obviously lightning and ice rotating balls, so this can make it also even stronger. And you need to think about it, what can have an effect on the builds that you personally really like to play. And as I said, almost everything is viable here. Meteors are viable, sprites are also viable, everything can be viable and playable, but you need to push what you want to play with runes. And artifacts can also play a role with it. We will shortly talk about it, okay? But yeah, this is it. And then you have like the two ones in the middle. Well, that is pure preference with one rune that is super important, is the blessing rune, the revive one, especially afterwards when you get it to mythic, because then you have a 100% chance to revive up on that with half of the HP restored. So right now I only have it like an epic, so I only have 50% chance to revive, which is already super great in arena and even in chapters and so on, because yeah, you get to revive one more time. Also in Sky Tower Super Song, and this is one that is almost inevitable. It's like probably the best and the one that fits in every build right now. For the others, I mean, as I said, it's pure preference and you need to test things out, what fits best in your play style and what is the most fun for you. But yeah, I hope this quick explanation helped you out with making a rune build. Now we are here in the artifact page, and as I said, artifacts can also have an impact on what is more strong or not and so on. And let's take for example here the chain, and as you can see the special stat says sprites damage plus 12%. So if you have a sprites build with this artifact here, it makes them 12% stronger, like 12% more damage. So yeah, so also watch out on which artifacts you have, and then according to this you can see, okay, this makes maybe more damage, okay, or I have artifacts that have like a very good synergy with swords and so on, okay, then I should do this. Or as I said with the chain, for example, if you have the chain, oh, then maybe sprites is the right way to go. And you need to think about all of those steps. But once you figured it out and found out, okay, I have the most possibilities or the most damage I can get out is from this build, then focus on it. And yeah, I know that in the beginning you will obviously not have a lot of artifacts, and even I play for over 3 months already and my artifacts are like still pretty low because I didn't really focus on them and so on. But yeah, just to give you an idea on how the game is and which things all have synergies together. Now, a lot of people also ask me which is the best set and so on, and this is pure preference. I, for example, really love the newest sets, the Oracle set, especially the Oracle Spear. And why? Because like if you have this with Tracking Eye, it's totally OP, totally broken, and in chapters you can rush through them. okay? So this is a pure preference thing, but it depends also again on your builds. For example, I don't have the S tier claws, the Griffin claws, but if you have the Griffin claws with the rotating circles, rotating balls, however you want to call it, it can be super strong because you are close from the enemy, so it is probably the most logical weapon to go with. But I just love the spear because overall, as I said, it can be super strong, and afterwards the bow, I also really love it. And keep in mind, the Griffin claws are very high risk because you need to always be super close to the enemy to get the most out of it. So yeah, but for beginners especially, and especially when you don't have like S gear weapons, let's talk about weapons first. Then the beam stuff is, in my personal opinion, the best. The bow is also pretty easy, but please don't take the knuckles. For beginners, it's like probably the worst. Keep your hands off it. And yeah, this is about the weapons. I must honestly say, about rings, amulets and so on, I really didn't look too much into it because I got already pretty early on S gear stuff. Yes, I'm not free to play, okay, we know that. But yeah, weapon wise, I give you my personal opinion, and then in the end, you need to see what fits you best, what you like the most. You want to get more crit, more damage, more speed, and so on. You know, those are all things that you need to check out for yourself and decide for yourself. But anyway, you should clearly at least focus in your mind, okay, which S gear set do I want to focus on? Because yeah, in the beginning of the game, we didn't have the midstone chest. Now we have it. It got introduced like a month ago or so almost, and we have the sets always in rotation, so you need to clearly go focus on one set only. So please just open midstone chest and not chromatic chest. Okay, please focus it and only open them when there's the one specific set that you want to focus on, and just focus on that one set. It doesn't make any sense, especially in the beginning, to focus on two sets. Like, unless you are very rich, have a lot of money, yeah, then you can have like a set for PvP, a set for chapters and so on. Yeah, that is possible, but yeah, you get what I say. Okay, and now we can talk about like the guild boss here and also the seal battle, because there are definitely things that most people do, and I talk here about my own experience with teammates and so on that played the game for already a very long time and have the most possible damage always against the bosses. And here, I swear, most people use the rotating circles because they are just so strong. You have so many good abilities with it. Also, again, to make them stronger, and you have like a lot of circles that you can pick like as an option during the fight, and this mostly makes the most damage. It is obviously very high risk because you need to always be very close from the boss. I get it, but if you manage to dodge his attacks and so on, it's the one where you can get the most damage with. At least this was what I experienced and what also a lot of high-level players experience. Obviously, you can also get a lot of damage with swords or with sprites and so on, but I can only say from my personal experience that I never achieved as much damage as I did with rotating circles, and yeah, I just got too used to it and I love it. As I said, against the guild boss and also in seal battle, I think it's a very solid option. Then we can also quickly talk about arena. Arena is pretty difficult. I'm not a big pro, let's say it like this, I'm a noob, but one thing I find is very bad is the rotating circles. Like, they are amazing in other modes, but in arena they are super bad because somehow often the character doesn't even run towards the enemy, so you don't get any usage of it and it's just very bad. What I personally think is good in arena are meteors and swords. They can be very good. I would probably also always put like a healing sprite into it. It can give you a little bit more heal, which is always nice. And one thing that I think also totally makes sense in arena is this rune here, because here you can see when it is on epic, starting skill, when damaged, summon 3 meteors to bombard the map. So when you get damaged, it spawns 3 meteors on the map, and you get hit very, very, very often in arena. So this makes a lot of sense, and it gets even stronger when it's mythic. So yeah, this is my quick recommendation. Then we have Sky Tower. Well, Sky Tower, it really depends. I mean, rotating circles can be very good if you do a high amount of damage and you kill the monsters very fast. But if your damage is not super high, maybe go to a safer route and make a swords build or a sprites build. This is just my opinion, but because then you can attack from very far away, and here also take either the Oracle Spear or the Dragon Crossbow, or if you don't have S gear weapons yet, take the beam staff or the normal crossbow. It's just my personal opinion. Here again, I would not take the knuckles unless you go with a rotating circles build and you feel very safe with it, okay? And then again, stages where there's only a boss, probably the best thing is to stay very far from them. So definitely not play rotating circles, something that is very safe and far away, like sprites, swords, maybe meteors, but yeah. And then on chapters, obviously that is up to you. I mean, it depends on your playstyle. I mostly play the rotating circles because I just love them, but sometimes I switch it up. I recently really also started to love swords. It can be super fun, to be honest, but yeah, I think this was mostly it. I tried to cover a lot of things in a small video, and I hope those informations and tips will really help you out to have an easier start into the game, to understand it maybe a little bit better. By any means, I'm definitely not a pro player, okay? So even I can make mistakes. In this video here, I will just give you my personal input, how I see the game, how I see things, how I feel like it. A lot of other people will disagree, and this is very normal, okay? So always take this with a grain of salt, let's say it like this. But I still hope that it will help a lot of you out, and because yeah, this is the point of the video. I try to help new players out, especially players that are very overwhelmed with all the informations. But yeah, I would say this is it. Thank you for the support. We hit already over 800 subscribers. Oh my god, I can almost already feel the 1,000 subscribers, even though we are already like over 150 subscribers away, but it feels so real that it can be achieved in the near future, I would say. So I really, really appreciate the support. And if you want to watch more videos or even live streams, I will try to also do maybe like at least one live stream per week. Feel free to leave a sub and leave a thumbs up on the video. It really, really helps out on the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, I would say this is it, and see you hopefully on the next video. Bye bye.